Yeah, I guess we get around a little bit
Yeah.
for sure. Well, cool, man. Well, it's great to meet you. There's so much that's going on with your life and your story I'm looking forward to getting into. But I want to begin our conversation with we're in April right now. 4 years ago, we were coming to grips with this pandemic. And I'm curious, how did you survive the pandemic and how did it change you?
Um, Survived it well. You don't mean like the technical details of how
Oh,
I survived
no.
it, but yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, no. I mean, just kind of getting through that time period because it was so full of change.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it was I was totally fine. My wife, we were okay. Yeah, totally. And I'm not sure it had any huge impact on me other than just recognizing that there's a higher purpose involved for everything. So this is just part of that process.
Yeah, for sure. So on paper, you're an entrepreneur, you're an author, you're a leader, but if I was to put you in front of a bunch of third graders at career day and one of the kids said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
Oh, I would say, oh, I'm an engineer and people want to build new things like a new dam or a new powerhouse, and I manage the building of that powerhouse. I look after all the crews that need to do all the different work in order to bring that together, the designers and the workers to build that.
So what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream?
Uh, Third grade. Look back. Probably an actor.
Okay, did you ever act?
I think we act every day of our lives, but
What-
no.
Good answer. I
Oh,
like that.
yeah, no, no, yeah, I did do a little bit. I did a little bit in my 40s.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How was that? Was it good?
It was I'm because I'm trained as an engineer with an MBA, I'm very precise and quite frankly, too concerned about being word perfect versus expressing my emotions, which you need to be able to do as an actor. You need to be able to embody and express the emotions and the feeling of the character that you're portraying.
Yeah,
And I think I was too stuck up for that.
yeah.
As a kid, would have been totally fine.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go back to your childhood. Tell me about where you were born and raised and how these seeds of becoming an engineer, how did all of these take hold and become who you are today?
So born 1960, youngest of six, and my dad died when I was five. My mom had to go out and get a job right away to look after the family. So my dad died July 4th. He was buried soon after, and my mom started work in September as a teacher. She had a university degree in what's then was called home economics, but she needed to go to teachers college 4 summers in order to get her teaching certificate. But back then they would allow her to teach.
Yeah.
So she taught high school. And so essentially we were, essentially on our own. In the 60s, you probably know you could, you walked to school, you took responsibility for yourself at a very young age. So um yeah, I kind of grew up independently. My mom got remarried in 1973, and I was the only one. I was uprooted from this little beach community south of Vancouver, not far from where I am today, and moved to the northern British Columbia, where instead of it being nice, pleasant winters, where you maybe get a little bit of snow and the ponds would freeze over to have, play hockey on, ended up in where the swing in temperature went from, say, 80, 85 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer down to routinely 20 to 40 below and a few times 60 below. Ran 500 head of cattle, 130 head of horses. So I learned how to ride and become a cowboy, so to speak. And I did correspondence from grade 8 through half of grade 11. And in grade 11, I couldn't do the math without extra help.
Yeah.
And so I came back to live down here in the family home by myself, a 5 bedroom home, 4 bedroom home. And I lived by myself and I finished my high school. And then I bummed around because I didn't like school because I didn't have that 8 through half of grade 11, that interaction with teachers to kind of engage you. To me, it was just do the work, get done, go out, get on my horse, go for a ride in the afternoon. And so then I bummed around. I did a bunch of things. I kind of went in a little wayward ways, so to speak, back in the 70s. And then one day I just decided, I'm going to take engineering. So I applied and got in and did 5 years of schooling to get my engineering degree.
Okay. All right. So, who's been a hero for you, an inspiration in your life?
Ooh. Hmm. I don't know whether there's been any real heroes. I think I'll tell you two things. Like always really admired musicians. Someone who could pick up a guitar or play a piano, like all orchestral music as well. Like just hear by ear and replay the tune,
Yeah.
or just learn. Become a master of whatever it is there, whether it's rock music or jazz or sophisticated orchestral music. And but I think someone who I admire today, being in Canada but looking south at you guys, is um, is the way Bernie Sanders, for example, in this last bid for presidential, you know, ignored all of the uh, PAC money and went out as a grassroots to try and get enough money and enough contributions and enough momentum behind him to take a real run at becoming president of the United States. And I think that took a lot of guts to be able to say, I don't want that PAC money and to be
Mhm.
beholden to that PAC money and be beholden to the large companies. I want to get out to the people where it really matters and make a difference in their life, the people that are struggling, the people that are subjected to the system, but don't have the benefit of a good job or lots of money or all those other things that wealthier people have. And, kind of slaving away just to make ends meet. And I find that admirable in terms of, going out and trying to help the majority of the people versus the minority.
I love Bernie, and I am fortunate to say, as an American, I've had the chance to vote for him in a primary, and I did it enthusiastically. Bernie represents ideas that are so progressive and good for human beings that we are not living in a world because there's so much that's jaded, it won't fit. Like whenever they say he's not the right guy, his ideas won't work, there's no reason why they shouldn't work. There's no reason why wealthy upper wealthy people should not be taxed more than all of the rest of us that are it's just there's so many things about him. In 16 he was actually they it came out that the Democratic Party railroaded him because they wanted Hillary because they thought she had the best shot against Trump. But he was supposed to be the guy. He actually had a lot of momentum. He was almost kind of a grassroots Obama guy.
Yeah.
All of these young people were gathering and growing around him, and they just totally bamboozled the guy. It was unfortunate, you know.
Yeah. This is all part of, unfortunately, but it's just we've all come here to experience all the things that we're experiencing. And this is part of the larger picture that we don't necessarily understand as individuals to bring about this massive change in consciousness around the globe.
Yeah,
It's like the wars in Israel and, Russia and Ukraine and stuff. These are going to look really horrific, may even get worse. And it is for a good purpose to get people to wake up and say, what the heck are we doing to each other?
yeah,
Like this is just uncalled for and inhumane and, all the rest of the words we could come up with.
yeah. Well, I never thought that the political tide would turn the way it has in this country, that there would be a certain amount of people that would support somebody like a Trump. That frightens me. And I'm hoping that and all the karmic forces and all the ways that the world is good rises up in November, and we tell this bozo to go home because that's just where we're at. It's frightening to see what could potentially happen because I never thought that I would see politics get this unhinged in my lifetime. It's just literally gone to a place that's, I think even a lot of people that have been in political office are just aghast. And there's a lot of people that are leaving office. Anyway, I don't want to go into the rabbit hole, but I will tell you real quick
Yeah.
that I really do admire the way the Canadians roll. I always have, especially being a guy that covers jazz radio. Your government gives grants to musicians. You actually put your money where your mouth is when you talk about extolling the virtue of the arts, and you have socialized medicine. In this country, people go bankrupt, lose their minds because they don't have
Mhm.
any coverage. And when there's a gun related incident that happens in this country, your country responds. You know, when that thing happened in Uvalde, I think it was in Texas. You guys passed legislation to get rid of weapons that should never be in civilian hands. And we can't even do that here in this country where it happened. So anyway, I've always admired the Canadian mindset and how you guys roll.
Well, thank you. I think all of Canada would say thank you for that. I think we can do better. We're not doing well enough, quite frankly.
Yeah,
And we're all subjected to the same belief systems around how you make money, what you need to do to make money, why money is important, what looks important in life. And I can tell you, none of that matters.
right.
And all of that stuff, all of the peace, the joy, the love, the abundance that you are is inside of you, whether you live on the street or whether you live in a mansion and you have billions of dollars.
Yeah,
Your joy and happiness does not come from the external environment around you. It comes from what's in you. And when you make this connection back to source, to God, to Yahweh, the Tao, whatever you want to call it, when you make this connection back and you let it enter into you and flow through you, and you become part of that flow, all your needs, when you get to the point of the total inner cleansing that you need to do, and the rebuilding of your consciousness and the getting rid of all of this illusion that we've come here to experience, you come back to being in this open and purified channel of the divine. And it takes years, it might take lifetimes, but everything that you need and everything that you need to be happy and joyous and peaceful and loving is given to you. Not everything you want. Those are different things. Those are
yeah,
egoic things you want. But everything that you need for a happy, fulfilling, prosperous life will be given to you when you're in that flow and you are expressing your true creativity versus I have to get an engineering degree out and go out and work at something that I kind of interested in, but not really, but I got to earn money. We're driven by these wrong things. But hey, I didn't know
yeah, right.
that.
Yeah, with youth, you don't get that. But no, that's so well said. I'm curious if you can meet one person alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating and spend some time with them, who would it be?
Ooh. I'm sure the Dalai Lama and all of those, and maybe there would be people like that. And I'm sure there's people I don't know. But one person I would love to meet, just to have a conversation with, quite frankly, is Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
Not that I think he's perfect in any way, shape, or form. None of us are, but he's headed in the right direction and he's getting people to think.
yeah,
And he's got such unique concepts about something bigger than incremental change and something working that is kind of chipping away at the infrastructure, this construct of government that has solidified.
yeah,
Like Biden's a nice guy and Biden's kind of status quo and making some incremental changes. I've judged none of these people. I have no judgments. I'm just
sure,
observing. I'm a neutral observer,
totally.
whether it's anybody around the world. I'm a neutral observer of it. But, I would view Trump as this disruptive, egoic, it's all about me, utilize the system for my benefit.
Yep,
And I would, see Biden as this person that's trying to make some incremental changes, but he's still trying to work within the construct of the system.
Yeah,
And Bernie is trying to, break through that system to have a different construct. It might not be the wholesale change that's required, and it might take 1,000 years to get there. I don't know. But Bernie, I think Bernie seems to me he would be, his ideas are on the right path. And somebody younger, if they pick those ideas up, maybe an AOC or somebody else, might be able to run with those and actually make them happen during their younger lifetimes that are going to, blossom into something different. But
absolutely.
but the system needs to break down. And in order for the system to break down, the change needs to happen. So I don't know who's going to be better to drive that breakdown of the system. It could be Trump being reelected, might cause the breakdown versus a Joe Biden being reelected.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you what's better.
But I will tell you this, the one thing that's very fearful of a lot of people that are on the other side of the Trump fence in this country is that his level of being malignant is so off the charts right now that I don't know that he would ever get out of office if he did. And his level of revenge is off the charts, especially with all the convictions and everything. So I think that's the fear. And I think the one thing that Biden's doing that I see is that, and it's because I'm inside the peanut butter jar of America right now. He is doing a lot of infrastructure. He's doing an enormous amount of governing that's effective because he's been around for a long time. But I think he's trying to protect us from the lunacy of MAGA. And he's trying to kind of insulate us from all of these voices that are so full of both vitriol and misaligned conspiracies. And I think that's kind of where we're at. But I do see what you're saying. There's a level of it that it's kind of like I drove to Oklahoma City this weekend. And when I went through Kansas, there was all of this land that they burn. It's controlled burning. And it's a level of that. There has to be a level of controlled burning to a certain degree so that we can regenerate and grow again.
Yeah. 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 That good way to put it.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at. But I'm curious with you, um, what is your motivation every day? What gets you out of bed? What gets you to do the good work that you do and to evolve as a human being?
This inner work that I do for myself. And so by becoming, for lack of a better term, for becoming more purified and getting rid of all of these egoic constructs and beliefs about life and digging deep and peeling back the layers of onions. And this takes time and it takes energy and it takes effort and it takes faith, if you will. But you need to continue to look every time that I get a reflection back from me that is not my preference. Maybe somebody comes at me with something, maybe somebody's in an argumentative mood towards me. I know I have created that and it's being reflected back at me to give me the opportunity to look at what belief do I have in me that is reacting to this person and to be able to take that belief, look at that experience, feel that emotion that I feel, but don't get caught up in it and don't get caught up in the story. And so I meditate 90 minutes every morning without fail from when I started this process, probably about the mid of 2018. I started at about 90 minutes. I started earlier than, I started this process in late 2017, November 2017. And in 2018, middle of that, I probably got up to about 90 minutes of meditation. And I meditate without fail every morning, minimum of 1 hour to 2 hours every day. And it is during that time that all during the day, I have an opportunity to increase my vibrational frequency. But it's during that time I make a connection back. I make a direct connection to source. I sit in the silence of the stillness of my mind. I feel that energy and that movement through me. I get instructions. I get suggestions, I get directions about things that I can work on to continue this process of inner cleansing and rebuilding of my consciousness, to come back to who I really am, who we really are, where we come from before death, And where we return to after death is unconditional love. And part of our process is to we come here to experience these things which are lower density, which are contrary to what we would consider to be unconditional love. Everything is unconditional love. But we get this stretching of our consciousness. You cannot experience the light without experiencing the dark. You cannot experience, the good without the bad because you have nothing to compare it to. So we come here to have these experiences of all of these things that we consider to be negative and things we consider to be positive, things we don't like, things we like. And all of that is to expand our consciousness and expand the collective consciousness of the universe. And so we come here to play in this game. We come here to do this work. It doesn't seem like a game when we're here, but your soul is having a lot of fun.
Yes.
And so we come here and your soul's excited about it. So you're come here to learn, and we're here right now to be, I'm not religious by any means. So this is not a religious way when I say this, but we have come here to be the Christed beings that we are. Jesus did not come here to create followers. He came here to create leaders, and he was misunderstood, misquoted. And the Bible, has a lot of historical concepts imbued into it. People are, there's a lot of mistruths in the Bible. There's truth in the Bible, absolutely, but there's a lot of mistruths in the Bible. And I'm saying this only because I've been told this. I haven't read the Bible, but I do know some quotes out of the Bible that are contrary to my belief. My belief is our God, if you want to call it that, or source, is unconditional love and does not want you to necessarily come here to be in pain and misery, but you have chosen that to expand Christ consciousness. You, as your individuated soul of the greater consciousness, has chosen that to help expand overall consciousness in the universe, in the multiverse. Anyway,
Yeah, I dig it. I love it. Yeah. So let me ask you something. What was the book for you growing up that you read that really made a profound impact? One of your favorite books?
hmm, you know, when I was young, it was mostly school curriculum stuff. And when I moved up north, it was cowboy stuff. And then when I came back, it was university stuff. I would say the first book that started me on this path a long time ago would have been one of the Wayne Dyer books.
Yeah.
Understood it, or at least intellectually, I thought I understood it. I didn't really. And Wayne Dyer, if I look at his history now, I can see the progression in his consciousness as each of his books came out.
Yeah.
The 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 issue with a lot of spiritual teachers, well-known teachers, is that they have to sell what's palatable to the masses in order to be successful. So there's a lot of books that are about how to manifest what you want and what you desire. And in many constructs, that's still an egoic thing. Because if you want something, it's not your soul, it's not something you necessarily need. It's something that you want. And there's nothing wrong with that. But in order to do this and do it well, you have to kind of cleanse your consciousness first and then come back to who you really are. And then you start making free will choices, which are consistent from where you come from. And those choices will be, how can I do things that are going to better things for everyone, better mankind? Not more money for me, not 5 houses for me, not new cars for me. Some of those may come to you because that's something you need in terms of helping other people, but those are not the goal in themselves. The goal is to, so Wayne Dyer taught this, but it was so subtle and his progression didn't bring it all together like this material that came to me. when I was, planning out my suicide note and crafting my suicide note. And the material that came to me, you know, it wasn't a read it once, one and done type thing. It's a progressive thing that every time you read it, you'll get something new out of it. Every time you go through this process that I went through of reaching out, knowing what your target is, entering the silence and stillness of your mind, you get external help from source to help you start to change your consciousness, to help you become this embodiment of the divine, to become this open and purified channel of unconditional love. And it happens slowly and it happens imperceptibly. But as you do this, things start to change without you knowing it. And then one day you wake up and you realize you've changed. You have an entirely different outlook on life. And then as you continue the process, your outlook and the things that you thought you knew shift and change because you had a shadow consciousness form of the concept of the truth. And it wasn't quite the truth, but it helps you along the path. And then you get new insights. Oh, that's what that really meant. I can read that material today, and I still do it as part of my practice and meditation. I listen to a few minutes of that material every morning and I cycle through it. And I've been doing it now since November 2017. And I will listen to something now and it will have a totally different insight than me listening to it a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. So, of all these things that you've done and become and evolved into in your life, what are you the proudest of?
I wouldn't say I'm proud. I think I'm happiest that I have actually come to this realization of who we really are and then found this process to come back to who I am and to help others, not to force my way on others. Like if I meet somebody and they're interested and they're curious, I'll talk about it. But as soon as they start resisting, I just, it's not their time. I'm not trying to force my way on anybody. There's many paths to the top of the mountain. And but I am happiest of the fact that I meet like-minded people today that are willing to help others, that are willing to be that embodiment, to be that unique vibrational frequency that they are, to admit it, to emit it, and um, to be part of this mass consciousness collective evolutionary process that we are here, our souls are here right now in an excited way to be part of. And I now realize that I am excited to be part of it because there's so many interesting things going on around the world right now that
Yeah.
I would have been caught up and fearful of 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Today, I view it all in this neutral fashion. It's all for a greater good. And it's like I'm at a movie and I'm eating the popcorn and I'm watching the show.
Yeah. That's it. I get it. So, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, colleagues, clients, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I am the exact same as everybody else in terms of being a unique aspect of source, an individuated aspect of source that is unconditional love. But I have my own vibrational frequency as everybody else does. And I am working to be this purified emitter of this frequency and be joyful and relish the beauty that's around me of everything that is alive, of everything that is inanimate, unconscious material. It is all here. We all come from the same place. We all return to the same place. We are all made of the same stuff.
Right on. Well said. If anyone wants to reach out, learn more about you, anything about your world and what's going on, how do they do it?
Easy way is the name of the book, ahigherroad.com.
I love it. Where's the best place to get it? Amazon?
Amazon's the easiest place to get it, probably.
Okay.
It's available globally in, ebook or hardcover or soft cover, but yeah, no, you can get it through Amazon. You can get it at the bookstores. You probably have to order it in a bookstore.
Okay. What a very evolved story of just getting to that place. Thank you for opening up. I really appreciate it. Best of luck with everything.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Joe.
Yes, absolutely. I loved it. Thank you, sir.